Hello, 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 everyone. How are you? Hope you're having an incredible, incredible day today, and may peace be upon you. And welcome, welcome, welcome to the show. It Takes Courage with me, your host, Dr. Izdihar Jamil. And just a quick apology for the techie error. Somehow things got frozen a little bit. But I just want to say thank you for joining me. And today we have very, very special guests. Eight beautiful ladies, inspirational, very kind of like not only driven, but filled with compassion and passion in what they do, which are the authors, the co authors of the Creative Lifebook, who just went launch, we just relaunched it, I think, last week, and it's already a number one international bestseller in multiple countries. So, and today we're going to be talking about this passion that they have about using art as a form of expression tool, as a medium to live your best life. So everybody, let's welcome the beautiful co-authors to the stage. Let me bring them up here. So we have Dawn, Perry, Jenny, Lisa, Jody, Carol, Diana, and Dawn. Welcome, 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 ladies. Come on off mute and let's say hello to everybody very quickly.
Hi,
And get
everybody.
And you can tell that they're an artist just based on the background and the creative side. And I think like over time, somehow, whether it's our school system or the life that we have, we kind of suppress that artistic side or creative side that we have over time and just focus on the logic. So first of all, I just want to say hello to everybody and give a quick introduction on the beautiful ladies that are here today. We're going to start off with the anchor of the group, the visionaire, the glue that keeps everybody together through her compassion, through her leadership, through her vision, has given birth to this book. I think it feels like you have another baby, Jess. So Jess, come and say hello to everybody and give everybody a quick introduction about you.
Hi, everybody, and thank you so much, Dr. Jamil, for having us on here. My name is Jess Hughes, and I am also a mother of 7 kids, so this Creative Life book certainly feels like another child. But I am an artist and an author and a visibility expert. I help amplify the voices of creative women to be well-known and highly paid in a way that works for them.
Beautiful. Let's help the voices to be seen, heard, and chosen, right, Jess, so that they can make the biggest impact and leave like a lasting legacy. Because that's for me, that's what's important in the sense that what we do today is not just for today, but it is something that's going to last past my lifetime in 100 years, 200 years, that people still can have a benefit from what we do today. It's a huge responsibility. So we're going to make sure that everything that we do is intentional. So thank you so much for that, Jess. And thank you. I just really want to acknowledge you for your vision, for your your bravery, for your courage. And courage would always be rewarded. So thank you, Jess, for that vision. And next, I'm going to say hello to Perry. Perry, come and say hello and a quick introduction about yourself.
Hi, everyone. So happy to be here. And I'm a psychotherapist and a writer and an artist. And my focus is teaching women through a method to become unstifled, unstuck, and unblocked from old patterns and traumas through a special method to gain more personal freedom and really creativity helps access the unconscious in a way that really helps free women up. So
Brilliant. To get unstuck. I love that because we're always stuck with something. Just get us moving, even though we're just one step forward. So thank you so much. Next, I'm going to say hello to Jody. Jody, come and quickly say hello to everybody. You're on mute, darling. You can go ahead and unmute yourself.
Good morning. Thank you for having us here. I am an intuitive artist, and I like to say a grounded idealist, and now an international best-selling author, which is a thrill. And I believe that our souls need the wild to connect us to ourselves, to connect us to the divine, and to give us the ability to ground and reset. So
Beautiful. And grounding and resetting is just, people think when you're a runner, like it's like you're moving your feet the fastest. But what I've learned is that the more that you are grounded to the ground,
yeah,
the relationship that you have to the ground is the faster you can go. Like Usain Bolt, he runs like less step than others because he has such a great grounding relationship with the earth. So thank you for that reminder, Jody.
Oh.
And Lisa, let's say hello to you.
Good morning, everybody. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you. I am Lisa Winston. I'm an intuitive artist, a #1 international best-selling author, speaker, and a mom. And through my art, I help people to connect to their heart, to connect to their love, and also to find the joy and the magic in life that most people think they have lost.
Yeah, and this connection with the heart is just something that we tend to forget or we tend to bypass, right? Because we always go to logic and kind of that's the only way going forward as the compass. So thank you so much for that reminder, Lisa. Okay, Jenny, let's say hello to you.
Hello, hello. Thank you so much for having us. It's such an honor to be on this panel with these so many gifted people. I am Jenny C. Cohen, and I believe that the world needs to dance. We can make art with our bodies, and in order to heal, you have to log into your body and be present.
Beautiful. And the world does need to dance. Whether the world needs to see you dancing or not is a different thing, right, Jenny? But you just got to move your body because I feel like whether it's intuition, whether inspiration, they all comes when your body is at flow. It moves around and not when it's stuck. So thank you so much for that, Jenny. Okay, Carol, let's say hello to you.
Good morning. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much for having us. I am Carol McConnell, and I am a contemporary artist. And with all the heaviness in what can be perceived as ugly in the world, it's my job to put beauty everywhere and inspire people with energy and passion.
Beautiful. Put beauty everywhere so that, everywhere you go, you have a sense of joy, right? On these little
Yes.
things that you see. Thank you so much for that. Okay, Diana, let's say hello to you and quickly introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Deanna Aliano, and I'm an abstract artist. And I found my passion later in life, and I believe that we are all creatives, and I feel like we just don't know it. Mine was on accident. So I'm sharing that, and I feel like we all have that somewhere inside of us.
Absolutely, Diana. And one thing I've learned is in my mind, when you're going to be an artist or creative, it's just something that comes to you naturally. But what I've seen with my own daughter, Nadra, is that, she loves it. She has the passion of it. But what distinguishes her is that she draws every day so that she gets better and better and better. And here I am like, oh, I can't do it. I'm not talented enough. But reality is, I haven't even practiced. The last time I had art was I was in a high school, which is just last year, right? So, so it's like kind of busting through that preconception that you just have to be talented to do it, but rather kind of finding it within you to express yourself in whatever capacity that you can. So thank you so much, Deanna, for that reminder. Okay, Don, let's wrap up with you with this introduction. Come and say hello to everybody.
Good morning. I'm Dawn Beauvais. I am an artist, and I discovered the art making process again after I experienced some tragic losses in my life. I sat down at the kitchen table with my sister, who insisted I paint again. And I didn't want to. But it was that moment that I was able to sit still and experience peace and calm like I hadn't in a long time. Sorry.
Oh,
So,
it's okay.
because I experienced the therapeutic value of art in my own life, I intend to put that out into the world.
And what a beautiful mission, Dawn. In the stillness and the calmness, in the grieving, you found something beautiful that can help others. So thank you so much for that, Dawn. Okay, ladies, so I'm going to start with a spotlight with Jess first, and then I'll come back to each and every one of you, okay? So stay there, and let me just take care of everybody pretty quickly. Feels kind of like, oh my God, like out, but it's not. They're all in the backstage, okay? I haven't kicked anyone out yet from the stage. Hey, Jazz, oh my
Hi.
God, congratulations on this vision. I knew that you felt like this book you had like a download, you had a manifestation, or um what was the word that you used? Like a download. I think it was a download that you mentioned, something that's just like wish, because you were already a best-selling author with a previous book. So talk us through about this inspiration that you have, and also the courage and commitment to take it through, because it wasn't easy, right? Taking care of these ladies, putting out your vision. If people only knew the million things you have to do to get this book out, they'd be like, right? So talk us through about your vision.
Absolutely. I describe this as really a divinely inspired download that I received really not that long ago. It was the beginning of February of this year, only 2 months ago. And it just was this idea of how incredible it would be to put a single creativity idea for people to use as a tool for wellness, as a personal growth book, not an art group book, but a self-development book for anybody you could hand to your neighbor who's going through a divorce and say, here, there's ideas in here from some of the best thought leaders, wellness experts, artists, creatives. There's 65 contributing authors. And so one of my favorite phrases is hesitation delays manifestation. And so when I got the idea, I put it out into the world the next day and said, who wants to co-author a book about creativity with me? And 65 authors jumped on board. We put this out into the world so quickly, and really within 9 weeks, here we are, a #1 international best-selling book in 6 countries, 23 categories. It was just an incredible experience for all the authors.
Absolutely. And I love that phrase, hesitation, like it's going to start manifestation or the realization of
Right.
things. And a lot of people, including myself, we're like, okay, we have this idea, but then logic sets in.
Mhm.
Okay, where's the funds going to come in? Where am I going to have the time and everything? And then that one thing, and then also like, okay, I'm going to do this, and then they pull back.
Right. Right.
So talk us through about, because this is what's happening in real life, Jess. People, it's the courage that's what's missing to put their stuff out there, because they're going to be judged,
Right.
because they don't think they can do it, because they don't think they're good enough. Who am I to even put myself out there? Who's going to even listen to me? So can you give us very quickly your thought on this?
Yeah.
On busting through. Sometimes
Well,
we're on our own way, right?
Well, I think as the audience knows and experiences, fear is the thing that keeps us limited and it keeps us trapped. And unless we have a way to express the fear out of our body, and I think for me, the painting that I do is the way for me to get all the fear out of my physical body, because I'm painting with my fingers very often. And so the Creative Life book is really about that connection from our emotions to get whatever it is out of our physical body, whether it's through dance, whether it's painting, whether it's mindset, yoga. We have people, wide range of experts within this book. And it's so giving people a practical tool to get rid of the fear. Because for me, in order to to take risks and put my visions out there and really create a legacy, it takes that. I can't hesitate. It's just step into that courage. And my big passion is that the artists and creatives are actually thought leaders. And it is our responsibility to teach the world that creativity is for everybody and that it's not about being good or bad or right or wrong. It's about full expression of, that the things that we can't articulate with the verbal language so that we can take risks. I paint to be better at business. I paint to be better at life. It makes me a fully expressed human being.
Absolutely. And this kind of like using it, because energy can be killed, right? This fear that we have is a part of energy, but using it to transform or transmute it into something that's going to, whether that's dance, movement, that's prayer, that's meditation, whatever that is, just as an outline. I remember like the first time I picked up the brush for 2 weeks ago after school, I remember like I just want to draw this moon, but this moon is like not taking the shape that I want, and I'm like, but it's just so great to like having that poor moon, okay, just like jotting things in, but then sometimes when it gets trapped inside, that's when it's hardest. That's when things stops us. So thank you so much, Jess, for that wisdom. And we're going to come back to you in a moment, okay?
Yep.
All right. Next up, we are going to bring Perry up to the stage. Hello, Perry. You're on mute.
Yes. Hello. So nice to be here.
Fantastic. It's so glad to have you here. So, Perry, let's talk about the inspiration that you have in your chapter. What, out of all the stories that you have about yourself, what made you wanted to put that one forward?
Well, I talk about in my chapter the inner gremlins that keep us trapped and stifled and blocked. And in my own life, I mean, one of the things that I remember is people teaching me art. And, well-intended teachers, I'm not slamming teachers at all, but one of the things that we are not born with these kind of inner gremlins telling us, that's right, that's good, that's bad, that's terrible, I have a fat butt in my diaper. We start to learn this when we are really young as toddlers, and we start to learn what's creative and what's not. And so one of the things that I saw with my clients in private practice is that, where they were personally trapped in traumas and old patterns and so forth, I wanted to develop a method that would help free them from those patterns and traumas and so forth. And I began to see the relationship between what we learned and what we needed to unlearn to become more personally free from all of that stuff that keeps us so stuck. And so I call it like a Greek chorus of gremlins in our head. And so my chapter is really about how to begin working with those inner gremlins, not just telling them to go away because they do come back, but how to develop a relationship with them so that they're not running everything, and that you gain more and more personal freedom by learning how to be with them instead of rejecting them.
That is beautiful in the sense that, with this trauma, so you talk about trauma, right? Sometimes we don't deal with it. And most of the time we keep it in boxes.
Yes.
We keep it tight-lipped. And then for all you know, you're acting a certain way or making decisions a certain way because of that thing that's running on our background, or that person that wronged us for 20 years, 30 or 10 years, but they still have power over us because it hasn't been completed, or it hasn't been like the word that you used was Perry was embraced it, or be at it, or be at peace with it. So give us one tip that you can in terms of that what you've discovered that works effectively, or just something simple that people can just start to embrace their trauma.
Right. So one of the things, honestly, is real kindness. Kindness towards yourself, kindness towards the parts of you that are trapped. I think that we even judge the inner judge. We judge the inner imposter syndrome and so forth. And the only way to actually get into those tissues that have been traumatized is kindness and compassion and love. When we're judging it, or when we're, harsh with it, or why am I stuck here? Why am I fearful about that? Why don't I have courage? It's kind of taking it's really like an inner domestic violent relationship, how we attack ourselves. And so really it's about learning loving kindness, but also really seeing in many ways what you are doing to yourself. So one of the exercises that I give is, instead of just like, I'm just going to tell it to go away and sweep it under the rug, I have them write all the messages in their head, like just have an explosion of all the, you shouldn't be this, you should do this, you should have done that. And so that they can begin to see what's in their unconscious and what's trapping them. And I think that we need to know what's trapping us instead of going into denial about that. And that's the beginning really of personal freedom, of seeing what has you and what needs to be freed up.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. Just, download it all. Whatever medium that you have, whether it's a pen or paper, or just shout it out or move, whatever it is, just let it out. And like I call it, the pulling out the yucky berries that's
Yes.
already been there. So
Exactly.
thank you so much, Perry, for that message.
you.
And I will come back to you in a moment, okay? All right, Jenny, hello to you. And when we first, before the call, before the session, I asked each of the ladies to say their intention, one word. And Jenny, what is yours?
Okay, so listen clearly. It is the opposite of what you think you're hearing. It is the word pronoia.
And pronoia is?
The opposite of paranoia. It is the belief that the universe is doing everything it can to work out everything for us.
Beautiful. And that's just the faith that it's just like, for me, I call it as faith, right? Like God is going to take care of us. God is going to so that's something that I wanted to talk about, because, and also relate it to your chapter, because, I was reading the Quran one day, and because I was like, oh my God, why is this not happening? Why is it like this? What am I going to pay? What is it? What is this people doing? And then suddenly there's this one line that literally, like, is God not sufficient for you? And then all of a sudden, everything was just like, that's it. So I wanted to talk about this because in our world nowadays, Jenny, spirituality or this connection is considered as woo-woo or not cool. So, and I want you to tie it with your chapter, the inspiration that you have with your chapter, and this trusting that everything's going to work out in the best possible way.
I am a breast cancer survivor. And when I was first diagnosed was when I got this direct download from God. Other people call it source. Other people call it the universe. It's really the same thing with different names, okay? I got the message and understood finally why my son was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. My kids are through IVF, and there are miracle babies. And out of the blue, my child is diagnosed with this lifelong disease where they could die in their sleep. I was very angry. I more or less stopped praying. It's just, when you do a temper tantrum, but it's a quiet one. That's what I did. I did not understand. You gifted me with these babies. And now how do I be this mother for them where it's out of my control? In my breast cancer treatment, I realized all those times I thought I was alone. And I look back and you see those one set of footprints. It wasn't me struggling to carry everybody. God was actually carrying me the whole time and keeping my child safe and getting to where I needed to be. I was very lucky. My type of breast cancer has a cure. It was a very torturous 2 years. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. We tend to overlook the suffering in silence when we're going through treatment. And I want to acknowledge we are in this middle of this healing on a global level. And so it's important for us to understand. Sometimes we can't understand, and we have to believe that we are being held and give ourselves grace for that period of disbelief and then moving on beyond that. When we are moving, it brings us beyond that flight, fight, fawn, freeze response to stress and trauma in our lives. Absolutely important to move, and then it allows us to hear when we're getting messages from the universe.
Absolutely. And this trust that, like you're actually not alone, that you're never alone. If you take away all your friends, if you take away everything, you will never be alone. And having that, sometimes what we go through is beyond logic, right, Jenny? Like, why did this happen to my son? Why did this happen to me? And then the vulnerability that you shared. My late mother-in-law had breast cancer. She survived the first time, but then she had it lead to certain effects years later, and she passed away because of that. Like, it's not just you that are affected here, but the people around you. And it's an emotional roller coaster. But and I've seen her throughout the time, she has never stopped praying. Never, not just for herself, but for her children, for her grandchildren, for her community. She would even say to her friends, when I die, you're going to read the Quran for me, right? So there, and then the other friend was like, when I die, you read it for me. So they were even having that conversation. But thank you so much, Jenny, for that vulnerability that you have of knowing that you're going to be taken care of, even when it defies logic. Such a beautiful reminder. Thank you so much, Jenny. And we'll come back to you in a moment, okay? All right. So next, I'm going to welcome Lisa.
Hi there.
Here.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning. And you just comes through, Lisa, as this bright, this joyful, this pop of energy, pop of color. So thank you for being who you are. So Jenny previously shared something very, very vulnerable, right? I wasn't even expecting that conversation. But as yourself as an artist, do you feel that vulnerability or having this compassion that within yourself is one of the key into expressing yourself in the best way possible?
Well, I think it helps. And not everybody, I mean, everybody has a story. Everybody's been through challenges. I just listened to Jenny and it was like, I've lost my house to wildfire, been abused, raped. I've had breast cancer. And in 2019, I collapsed from neuro Lyme disease and I almost died. So not everybody's stories are as difficult or as challenging, but I don't know, for me, it really seems like when you go through these experiences. I'm 64. I also found, I've been an artist my whole life, but I was a closet artist. And all these experiences, especially the one in 2019 with the Lyme disease, it made me realize that I was done doing what I hate. I was pushing against. I had been a professional singer for 40 years. And then I wanted to find my soul purpose. And I started coaching and I hated it. So it was like, what am I here to do? And I had a series of synchronicities happen, and it led me back to my art. But and because of the Lyme, I was like, I'm getting older. Life happens. It happens for us, but it happens quickly, and we never know when the unexpected is going to happen. So it's like time to jump in, do what I love, do what I absolutely adore for the rest of my time on the planet, because we don't know. So I think that challenges can lead us to doing what we love. I don't think that they're necessary, and I hope that people don't have to go through those, but I think that they give us more wisdom. And look at the sun, it's shining through my window like crazy.
I know you got like the spotlight from the house.
I know.
And then you were saying that you're a closet artist. Well, no more, darling. Everybody can see your art behind you, right? So it's
Right.
just expression that and sometimes we do things behind the scene, and that's okay, right? That's what you need at the moment. That there will be a time when God forbid, when things happen, that you have, what, I'm just going to show this part of myself because hopefully it's going to help other people.
Yes,
to
absolutely.
do that.
Yes.
And with the story and what you were saying potentially is a course correction. Because it leads you back to what the joy that you feel, the expression, potentially the freedom as well.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for that reminder. Like I love it that the light. This is like divine lighting shining at you. Absolutely perfect. Thank you so much, and I'll bring you back in a moment.
Thank
Okay,
you.
Lisa?
Yes.
All right. So next, I'm gonna say hello to Jody. So Jody, hi. And
Hello.
welcome.
Hey.
So tell us about the inspiration that you have with your chapter in your book. And I'm almost like just imagine you have the divine light shining on you, just like just like Lisa earlier. So what's the inspiration behind your chapter?
My inspiration is that when I get stressed and the world, right now is a little stressful, I go into the wild or nature to ground myself and to calm myself. I really feel like nature is it connects us to the divine and reminds us that we're not out here alone, and that there's a bigger thing going on in the, than just us. And I don't mean that in a way that we're not valuable. I mean that in a way that we are part of something bigger. We're not here alone. And so that was my inspiration for the book. It really helps my creativity to be in the wild, and I really feel like it helps people in general calm themselves, give hope, give peace. So that's what my chapter was about.
Beautiful. And this connection with, you call it the wild side or nature. Because a lot of us are, even though we work from home, but technically we're like stuck on the table, right? And
Yes.
when we do that, we're like, duh, 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 duh. But sometimes I find that, okay, I'm just going to stand up and I'm just going to go to my garden, take off my shoes, take off my socks, and just have that grounding moment with the grass
Yes.
and just touching the trees. And somehow it just feels this shift, right? Like the
Yes.
grounding, the touchness, the calmness. So in your experience, what kind of, when you go out in the wild, what are things that you have experienced?
For it, it's really hard to explain. It's a very visceral reaction. I feel like my blood pressure instantly drops. Um, a lot of people, I'm lucky to live in the Pacific Northwest. I have access to really beautiful places, but I was thinking last night, a lot of people live in the city. So if what you can do is find a park or a soccer field and lay down and watch the clouds, that's a helpful thing too. You can find a community garden and sit in. You can go to the arboretum, and it just really reminds me that I'm not in charge, that someone else, I believe God has a is in charge of all this, and it's not me,
Yeah.
and I don't have to carry the weight of the world. And it gives me really great peace and hope when I'm out in nature.
Beautiful. And the word hope, right? Something that you've mentioned before. And having this hope that, you know what, everything's going to be okay. I just need a little bit of reminder. And I know sometimes it's hard when you're at the office or wherever you are. Sometimes it's hard to kind of like step back and look for a park, probably be worthwhile. Like for me, I have this little, there used to be a plant here, okay? There used to be a plant here. So probably have, I have this unicorn horse that my daughter loves unicorn, my daughter loves unicorn. But there is a little bit of plant in here, but, have
Yeah.
something of a reminder, right? Something of a reminder, or maybe like you, behind you, you have a painting, and I can see quite a lot of your paintings are nature based, the
Yes.
earth, the ocean. So have something of a little bit reminder to kind of like ground you, because sometimes it's not always possible to just get up and
Right.
leave, but you can have a certain kind of connection with that to give you a sense of hope. So thank you so much, Jody, and we'll come back to you in a moment, okay? All right, Carol. So
Hello.
let's talk about your inspiration or your vision, or using Jody's word earlier, your hope for people that reads your chapter.
Well, mine is all about seeing as an artist. Being a professional artist for more than 20 years, I've trained my brain to see the world differently. And when I look out, I'm constantly thinking, how would I paint that? And what is in the negative space? What is in the positive space? And all of that really changes my view of the world. Also, what changed my view of the world is I quit watching the news. I just can't, I'm too, it soaks into me and I can't handle it. So I recommend, if you are sensitive like I am, turn off the news and start painting, because it is really a magic moment when your brain flips over and you start seeing the world as an artist. It is unbelievable. I'm pretty much painting all the time in my mind, even if I'm not holding a brush.
Beautiful. And just start with something, whether it's painting, whether it's writing, with a journal, but it's the idea of like having it up from here to, to a medium, whatever
Right.
that medium
Exactly.
that may be. And then, listening to the news as well. I mean, I don't either like listen to the news because then I get distracted. Oh my God, this is happening, that is happening.
Oh,
And some I and suddenly I got worried because of X, Y, and Z. And then somehow I find that if I don't listen to the news, my world just still keeps going, no
yes.
matter no matter what happens, right, Carol? So that is really, I love that you gave practical tips there, Carol, on what people can do. Just pick up a pen, just pick up a brush, just pick up whatever. And even if you can't, like you, Carol, you have it in your mind, like you're painting in your mind, the vision, the colors. Thank you so much, Carol, for that. And we'll come back with you in a moment, okay? All right, let's say hello to Deanna here. So Deanna, your chapter and about expression of art. Talk us through about what made you would want to pick up a brush because you mentioned that you came back to it after some time. So what made you want to pick up that brush or have the courage to pick up the brush again? I think you're on mute.
Yep,
Yes.
I'm off.
Okay.
Thank you.
Perfect.
I had never painted before 6 years ago. So I had no idea that I loved how the brush felt. I had decided I have no idea why. So that's my chapter is about listening to your nudges of things pushing you towards something, and you should just go with it. So I painted a sloth of all things. I don't know if everyone knows what a sloth is, but a very good friend of mine, she loves them. She wants to retire and do a rescue. So I just decided I'm going to get a piece of paper, and I pulled out these acrylics, little tiny acrylic paints, and I'm painting her a sloth for her 50th birthday because she's impossible. And that was the perfect gift. And the strangest thing after that, I have been painting ever since. It just was amazing. So my chapter is really about that we should listen to those little nudges that say, just do it, and ever since then, it's really, I've done a lot of that, like even becoming part of this book and like posting my stuff on Instagram was so huge for me because obviously I haven't been painting that long,
Yeah. And I love the part about listening to the nudges, right? So the nudges, I feel like is a divine guidance in a way, Diana, like leading us in the right direction or taking us away from something that is harmful or people, something that doesn't align with us. So I love that you're listening to. Who would have thought a sloth would kind of like push you through to like painting on an every day? And I mean, no offense to sloth, but they're not the prettiest animal, right? So, if it's a cat, you'll be like, oh, they're so cute with the whiskers. This is like a sloth. So never underestimate the guidance that you've been given. And sometimes just like Diana, it's like a sloth. But that's the opening, the portal to putting yourself out there, like you said, in social media. Was it scary, Diana? Like putting yourself out there and then hit the button?
Same thing. And I've actually done, since I've been with Jessica, since I met Jessica, I've done live art shows, which never would I ever think I was going to do that. So it has opened up so much to just trust, for me, your higher power and God, and just go with your intuition, really. And it can change your whole life. I mean, I never imagined. And even my parents were like, I had no idea you could paint. I mean, I'm 47 years old and painting animals and, abstract paintings, just amazing. If you can just trust what you feel. That's the thing, is trusting ourselves to know what to do.
Start with you, like trust to put yourself out there, trust that you can handle it, right? Trust that you have something worthy to say and whatever capacity that you can. And you're like, never have I thought I would go on this show, on that. And then here you are today, live on TV in front of thousands, potentially millions of people over the years. Yeah. So thank you so much, Diana, for your bravery. And here's to sloth everywhere around the world. I think you just upgraded the status of sloth from now on. All right, we'll come back to you in a moment, okay? All right, let's wrap it up with John. John, talk about your chapters. And I feel like, John, sometimes you have this bold streak in you. Like sometimes you just like go for it. And sometimes, which is, it takes a lot of courage, no matter what you do, to put yourself out there. So I want to talk about what you said in your chapter, specifically how do you feel that is going to give hope or give encourage or inspire other people from reading your chapter.
So first of all, I say the word inspiration because I never saw myself as inspiring to others, but having experienced all the tragic losses that I have, and I didn't even mention my grandchild died last fall. Art has been an anchor for me, right? So I read that what you put on social media the other day. I'm going to take Mondays off. And for me, I'm a go, 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 go. Even after Bradley died, I threw myself into service work because I do believe that we need to look for the helpers, and those are the people that are going to change the world. And I worked full time, and I did service work through an organization called Ohio Can Change Addiction Now. And I gave, and I love giving. But there was one point where I had to sit down and take a breath and focus on me. And that phrase, be still and know that I am God, really hit me right here. Because when you're moving, and I couldn't sit still, it was just too painful. And then I discovered art. I rediscovered art because I've always loved art, but I rediscovered it, and how you can just infuse yourself into the work and it transports you to a place of serenity, peace, calm. And, even though I've gotten choked up a little bit today, I am living my best life. I'm happy, joyous, and free. And art helped me get there. And the reason I say inspiration is because I want other people to feel that too. And you don't have to be a great artist, but you can get there. If I can do it, you can do it.
Absolutely. And John, first of all, no mother or no grandmother should experience the death of their younger ones, because it's expected that for us to go first, right? And then our children. But then to experience that grief and loss, and like your grandchild haven't even lived his fullest life yet or haven't experienced certain things. And that is a huge grief and to have to you. And, and then, I'm just feel so thank God that you found something to channel through that. And then it's hard for you to stay in silence, to be still. But that is the moment when everything starts to settle, and the thing that really matters and the thing that you need the most then will be revealed to you. And that's how, like here you are today of putting yourself forward. And look, for me, it's hard for me to take time off. Like I'm always like go, 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 go as well. But I'm like, I made a commitment to myself earlier this year that Monday is going to be my day off, because we all know how busy we are on the weekends, right? Weekends is a full working day, but I haven't really been honoring that. So I'm like, I'm just going to binge Netflix yesterday, okay? Watch this show, and things just keep happening and moving in the right direction. So thank you so much, Dawn, for your vulnerability in sharing that, for your moment of like really bravery, because I told you a few minutes ago that you have this bold streak in you, and you've just shown that of putting yourself out there. So let's bring everybody back up again as we round up the session. Let's bring Deanna, let's bring Carol, let's bring Jody, let's bring Jess, Lisa, Perry, and Jenny here. Okay, ladies, let's round it up with one word. Okay, and we started with Dawn here, and then we're going to start with Dawn as well, and we'll round it up. Okay, Dawn, the creative life is fill in the blank. One word, go.
What did you say? I didn't hear you.
The creative life is So one word, fill in the blank.
Love.
Love. Beautiful. Deanna, the creative life is?
I guess it'd be peaceful, but peaceful for me.
Just like peaceful or
I
love?
love that.
Peaceful. Love it. Okay, Carol, the creative life is? Unmute, darling. Can you unmute, Carol?
I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
Passion.
Passion, right? Compassion.
Yay.
Beautiful. Okay, Jody, let's go for it. The creative life is?
It's hopeful.
Hopeful. It's the hope, it's the passion, it's the love, and it's just I forgot what you said, Tom, but it is a fantastic word. And Jenny, creative life is?
Dance.
Dance, move it. What's that song, Jenny? The move your body. Ah, it's in
Actually,
my
that
head.
the word I came up with you earlier, that's actually a song. It's
Is
pronoia.
it?
Yeah, you can look
Oh,
it up and play it every morning.
so cool. I didn't know there was a song for with that word. Fantastic. So the dance part. Okay, Perry, the creative life is?
Magic.
Hooray, magic. Lisa, the creative life is?
Freedom.
Freedom. All right, Jess, we started with you. Let's anchor everybody in. Let's go all the way to the home run. Let's go all the way to the Super Bowl and wrap things up. You're the, what's that guy's name? Tom
Yeah,
Brady, the female version of Tom Brady. The creative life is?
the creative life is extraordinarily rich.
Extraordinarily rich, and freedom and passion and love and boldness and sexiness and courage. Beautiful. So, ladies, thank you so much for joining me today and sharing your voices, sharing your passion, sharing your hope and inspiration. And I pray that what we discussed today, what we say today, is going to make an impact and leave a legacy for many years to come. So, thank you so much for joining me today. This is your host, Dr. Izdihar Jamil. Remember, be courageous, be bold in sharing your voice so that you can make the biggest impact and leave a legacy for many years to come. And so it is, and so it is done. Okay, ladies, let's say bye to everybody and give the twinkle wave. Bye, everybody.